Trill the gardener. Oh, he were a good man. He settled me, much like me dad, only a bit slower, of course, and a lot older than I. See that tree? Me dad planted that when he were young, before he got married.
The great beech filled half the sky and shook its shadows all over the house. Its roots clutched the slope like a giant hand holding the hill in place.
I got Rosie to summit.
Abruptly she left us, gathered up her skirts and trotted lightly to the wood. We saw her squatting in the undergrowth, bright-eyed like a small black partridge. Old age might compel her to live in a house, but for comfort she still went to the woods. Then one day, as she was clambering out of her wood, she stumbled and broke her hip.
I knowed it was coming after that visitation last week. Some person in white. I don't know.
Did you hear him, missus? He's been a-screeching around since midnight. Called 3 or 4 times in them news. Her's going, you mark my words.
That day indeed, Granny Trill died, whose bones were too old to mend. The little church was packed for a funeral, for the old lady had been a landmark. They carried her coffin along the edge of the wood and trailed on a cart through the village. Granny Wallen, dressed in a shower of jets, followed her some distance behind. All went well until the lowering of the coffin.
It's a lie! The baggager were younger than me. 95, she says, ain't more than 90, and I've gone on 92. So crime you letting her go to her maker and such brazen lies. Dig up the old devil and take her brass plates off. It's an insult to the living church.
Granny Wallen had triumphed. She had buried her rival. Now there was nothing more to do. She faded and diminished daily, kept to her house and would not be seen. About 2 weeks later, of no special disease, Granny Wallen gave up in her sleep. She was found, dressed in bonnet and shawl on her bed, with her signalling broom in her hand, her open eyes fixed on the ceiling, in a listening stare of death. There was nothing more for her to live for. No cause, no bite, no fury. Her down under, they joined her at the top, having lived closer than anyone else. Winter, of course, was the worst time for the old ones. They curled up like salted snakes.
Come on in, Mrs. Lee. We've just come to ask how Miss Davies is faring.
Poorly, Mrs. Lee. And you can't be any wonder of that. He's had pneumonia for years. You don't know it, but we reckon he's sinking. It's like this, Mrs. Lee. He took ill on Friday, so I sent for my daughter Madge. We fetched him 2 doctors, Dr. Wills and Dr. Packer, but they fell out over the operation. Dr. Wills, you see, don't believe in cutting, so we gave him a course of treatment. Dr. Packer got in a pet over that, being a rigid bomb for the knife. It's true, you know. Once you've been cut, you're never the same again. What did Albert say about it all? Well, you know Albert, he wouldn't be messed about. He said he'd no mind to be butchered. Give me a bit of boiled bacon and let me bag, he said. Would you like to see him? Come on up then.
No, Miss Davies, oh, he's brought the boys to see you.
Do you know, Mrs. Lee, I was just counting last night how many of them had been taken. And I reckon it's nigh on 100 from Farmer Lusty's up to the memorial. The old bugger seems to snatch them at weekends. Best fasten up the shutters, missus. See, I'm decent, missus. wrap up my doings in a red silk handkerchief.
Soon after the First World War, a violent event took place in the village, which drew us into a web of silence and cut us off for a while almost from the outside world.